TOK essay title number 1, May 2025. You need help? I got the help. Let's get an A.
Get an A in TOK.
All right, so if you don't know, here's the deal. I'm giving you my notes for free. The link is down in the description. That's what I'm going through right now. I've got all these examples for you. Let me just take you through this guide because you should have already paused and downloaded it. If you didn't, I don't know what you're doing. But first of all, if you need help, you can click on this link to go to my Fiverr store where I got you. You can have me help you with your paper. I've got guides on my website here. You should have already found my YouTube channel. You can also go to my website for all of the stuff that I've got. So go ahead and go to that. You go to May 2025. Also check out how to choose a TOK essay title. Really popular video. So many people are messaging me here on Fiesta. I have a lot of tabs. So many people are messaging me, how do I get started? If you are watching this video, you probably have already got started. But if you haven't yet, if you're trying to figure this out, check out that video. But if you're ready to go, let's go ahead and take a look at this one. I like this one. First of all, this is one that you should consider choosing. Do historians and human scientists have an ethical obligation to follow the directive? Do not ignore, I think I need a quote there, do not ignore contradictory evidence discussed with reference to history and the human sciences. So if you see my introduction video, I called this the basic one. And if you see my breakdown a little bit more, you're gonna choose this if you want to find easy evidence, because contradictory evidence is easy to find. If you want easy organization, you can do this with the yes-no organization. Now, if you want to know all about organization, you need to go watch my breakdown video because I'm not discussing organization here. This is just evidence, okay? And then finally, if you don't want to choose AOKs, you can choose this. Now, there's a lot of controversy on Reddit because people on Reddit are people on Reddit, but some people really hate the idea of the IB choosing your AOKs. Some people love it. Personally, I like it because they're not doing it for every title, but they're doing it for some. So if you're like a lot of people and you just hate TOK, you might consider choosing this one because the organization's easy and they're telling you what to look at, and it's 2 of the easier AOKs. So what I have done is I have given you a lot of ideas here to get started. I haven't given you the analysis. A lot of people will say, if I use your channel, am I plagiarizing? No, because I'm not telling you what to say. I'm pushing you in a direction and I'm getting you going, okay? So I have all of the links here. So if you want to learn about Rat Park, for example, you can click that, and I have taken you to the Wikipedia for the controversy of Rat Park. Now, the controversy is not giving rats heroin, which is kind of funny, but this will get you started. This should not be your only research, but then when you go down here, holy crap, I've got 18 more resources that you can look at, okay, from thanks Wikipedia. So use my guide to get started, and then you're going in the right direction. But I'm gonna talk about some of these. All right, let's see. Okay, so when we're talking about do not ignore contradictory evidence, when we're talking about history, and this could also be human sciences, the discipline of politics, we look at the US founding fathers. They state, all men are created equal, yet they owned slaves. They created laws that did not treat slaves as equal. So do we ignore this or not? Honestly, it's usually ignored. Is it ethical or not? And we're going to talk about ethics in a minute. So there are many things that we can do here. This is easy research. Now, I do want to say, if you're not from the United States, you need to be careful talking about another country's government. If I, as an American, was going to start dissecting Singapore's government, I have some inclinations that cause me to look at the government certain ways, okay? Spoiler alert, I love Singapore, but their government is whack. Shout out to Singaporeans, Merlion. Okay, but we need to just use some nuance and understand every country's different, and it's not where I grew up. So take a look at this, but don't just be some person who's bashing. You gotta understand the whole story. Okay, now religion, this is important. You can treat holy texts of any religion academically, but don't use your own faith as an aspect of the TOK essay. So you can look at, we're looking at, where's the word? Contradictory evidence in religion as historic documents, not religion as religious texts, but many holy texts make historic claims. I'm not talking about like creation claims. I'm talking about claims about people who we know existed. So you can look at these articles right here. This is for Judeo-Christian contradictions. This is for Islamic contradictions, okay? Now, just for example, the Quran says inside the Quran, there are no contradictions. So if somebody is saying there are contradictions, how do we reconcile that? Ethically, What are we supposed to do? Okay, there is a biblical debate about the historic I'm sorry, not a biblical debate. There is a debate, a modern debate. I'm not going to upload this till I finish this video, about the historic accuracy of the Hebrew Bible, what Christians call the Old Testament. Historic records about King Darius and other kings. So in here, the Judeo-Christian Bible is making a claim about this person did this. That's not a religious claim. That is an old document making a claim, and we are studying whether or not that claim is true. There's a bunch of different things that you can look at. I like this because we're inserting religion, which by the way, the IB hates, and we're inserting that and looking at it historically. So again, your personal beliefs in this don't matter. But there's a treasure trove of historic documents when we look into religion. Okay, I love this one. A lot of you guys do too. The Hitler diaries. So what happens when something greatly contradicts common and shared knowledge? This is a very easy yes answer here. Yes, we do have an ethical obligation to do not ignore contradictory evidence. So if you haven't heard of the Hitler diaries, it's crazy. It is a great example of when people were just completely just sloppy with their research research methods towards history. So somebody found some diaries, said they're Hitler's, and it made Hitler seem like not a bad guy. Well, of course, it was all false. So historians need to check out contradictory evidence, okay? And one thing that I would really say if you're gonna do this, it was not contrasting with other like specialized knowledge. It was contrasting what everybody already believed about Hitler, contradicting. So take a look at that. I do think this is going to be used a lot, especially because I'm now featuring it on my channel. Okay, let's check out the human sciences, the Mead-Freeman controversy. I love this one. I think I go to the Wikipedia here. Yeah, this will get you started, but there's so many things that we can look at here. So basically these two anthropologists made contradicting claims. And so what are we supposed to do when two claims say the exact thing, but they're both specialists? They're both scientists. What are we supposed to do with that? Do we ignore one? Do we like one so we believe it? That's what happened. So that's a very great example there. Rat Park, I've already talked about this. Rat Park made some very big claims about rats, but applied them to humans. Spoiler alert, people like heroin. So what do we do when the big claim can't be replicated? People try to replicate it, say, hey, this is helping us learn about humanity. Let's do it again, let's learn from it. And nobody could find the same results. That's contradictory evidence. So if you want to go on that rat trail, if you want to go down that route, you can talk about anything in the replication crisis. And this is something that all TOK teachers need to be talking about, that, and I'm going to get to that in the next example as well. Many scientific experiments that we believe maybe that have become famous, they can't or haven't been replicated. And if you see my other videos, replication is the hallmark of good science. I say that all of the time. And so what do we believe about a scientific study that can't be confirmed again? What do we do? That's what we need to talk about in this essay with ethics, and we'll get to there in a minute. Many Labs 2 is really why this is famous. It's the big warning flag in the replication crisis. So it's easy to go into the discussion of what we should do because of this. So in Many Labs 2, they took all of the famous psychological studies and tried to redo them. And what they found out was only 50% of the studies got the same result the second time they did it. So what is the value of a psychological experiment if the results are different every time? And then you're going to talk about what should we do because of that. Remember, and I'll talk about this in a minute, but ethics deal with the word ought. What ought we to do? Ought we ignore contradictory evidence, or ought we not to? That's at the heart of this essay. Okay, aliens. I love this one. I talked about this last year because it is just so wild. This is about how ignoring contradictory evidence can cause us to assume that aliens are true. So not all of these are human sciences. In fact, some of these are. This one is just so weird because we're thinking, oh no, you're talking about aliens. That's natural science. But no, this got into government and goes into what governments can know. So yeah, these two right here basically say if we ignore contradictory evidence, then you pretty much can claim anything and everyone will just believe you. And of course, that's a very bad thing. Okay, last I posted a really good article called Disagreement in Science. This article explores why people who are similarly educated in the sciences, so why PhDs, why experts, why really smart people come to wildly different conclusions about important and controversial issues. And so it's kind of this idea, everybody's gone to college for so long. Why are our findings, why is our knowledge, why are our opinions so different? So this is a really cool article. I think it's pretty long. If you don't want to read, yeah, look how long this is. You're welcome. But also, if you don't want to read this whole thing, check out a couple paragraphs, and what you can actually get ChatGPT to shorten it for you. But what you could also do here is talk about this in the introduction or in the conclusion. Okay, so now, important, what you don't want to do here is, anywhere in the essay, is just say they are or they aren't ethically bound to do something. Is that the word? Ethical obligation. So they are ethically obligated or they aren't. Because if you make that claim, this is very important. If you make that claim, you are applying your own ethics to that and just saying, well, I believe this, so this. That's not what you want to do. You do that, you'll get a C. You'll pass, you'll get your diploma, you'll get a really good job at McDonald's, but you're not gonna get that great score. And if you're watching this video, that's what you really wanna do, okay? So what you instead wanna do, check out these links, and these are gonna go into ethical frameworks. And what you wanna do, and I like this one a lot because it's dealing with ethics of a certain discipline. I'll talk about that in a minute. But what you really wanna do is say, they are or aren't ethically obligated to do so because of this framework. Now, it's really important to know the difference between ethics and morals. The easiest way to understand it is morals are inside and ethics are outside. So you can have business ethics and the behaviors and the obligations in there are different than ethics in education. For example, my friend spends her own money in her classroom because she's a teacher. That's an ethical act in the education world. But in the business world, I actually get in trouble for using my own things at my job, okay? I don't work in education anymore. So we need to be thinking about ethics can be different in all of these social spheres, okay? So I've got 3 resources there, but if you just say people are or aren't ethically obligated, you need to tell me how the ethical framework is working there. Because if you don't, you're just making the claim yourself and there's no justification. So that's the biggest thing I'm gonna be saying when people send me their essay. So when you need your help, when you're freaking out, when it's Christmas time and you're like, oh no, what do? You're gonna open this document, click here, you're gonna send me the essay because I got your back. Look at how many reviews I've got. I'm doing so good. Okay, I have nothing else. You need to go to bed or something. You need to go to a party. I don't know, I hope TOK sucks a little bit less than it did at the end of this video. I'll see you next time. Bye.